We got something. Hello.
Hello.
How are you, beautiful?
I'm great, gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, my goodness. I'm super excited to have this conversation with you tonight.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Of course, of course. So, really quick, I know as everybody come in, guys, listen, it is Thursday night. We are at it again. Episode 7 for Indie Talks. Of course, my name is Aisha Lewis Redway. I'm one of your hosts. And of course, my beautiful co-host Danielle couldn't be with us tonight, but she's here in spirit. All right, listen, tonight we are talking to, I mean, hands down, the most amazing, legendary Miss Lynn Davis, who is singer, songwriter, I mean, background vocals, everything that you can imagine, that you can think of. I mean, just a powerhouse. We want to say thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Oh, I'm overjoyed to be here. I'm elated. This is wonderful. This is officially my first Instagram Live interview.
Ooh, listen, yes. I know. Listen, technology can be crazy, okay?
Yes, and I am so challenged in that area. I had my eyes dilated today too, so I'm like looking at everything like, what?
Oh, no. Oh my goodness. Well, we're glad that you're able to be a part of this
Oh,
and that you're doing your first IG interview with
yes.
Venus.
Yay.
So we're going to go ahead and I'm super excited for this conversation. We're going to jump right into this. For those who may not know, and if you would like to share some light on your story, because, you have a whole history. It's just a whole catalog that's happening with you, from Shaka Khan to George Duke. And the list goes on and on. So kind of just give a little insight to those who may not know
Well,
who you are.
I've been in the business for over 40 years, and I came into the business through George Duke. And I worked I work with Shaka, I work with Stevie, work with Patrice Rushen, I work with Mick Jagger, I've worked with Mariah Carey. So many people, too many people. My discography is like 12 pages, so it's really been a blessing. Practically anybody who's in the music business at some point in time, we have crossed paths and I've worked with them. And so it's really been great. It's been a great career.
And with you working for these spans of decades and working with these iconic artists, kind of share some light on your most memorable moments
Ah,
and lessons from this extensive career you have.
there are so many invaluable lessons. I feel so blessed to have entered into the business with someone that was so immensely talented, and it was a safe place with George Duke. And I think the introduction was also, there were so many lessons to be learned, to be surrounded by so many talented individuals in the band, and to watch how they carried themselves, how they moved within the business. It was a whole new experience for me. My first plane ride, was with George Duke Band to Sao Paulo, Brazil, to work with Milton Nascimento and Raul de Sousa. And, our business is sort of a people business. So once people hear your work, it's, word travels. And as you work with, I've worked on movie scores with movies for Steven Spielberg, Marvin Hamlish, Lila Schiffner, commercials for television, lots of studio work. Uh, and then I've been on tour with so many people and of different genres as well. A lot of people don't know that I went on tour with Yanni, and sang like classical, like classic pop kind of. We sang an aria on tour with him. And I just felt like recently, because of social media and how music is being presented to the audience now through social media and online streaming and all of
Yeah.
that. It's a brand new world, but it's a world in which uh, us indie artists can maintain control of how we want the public to see us, and we have such control over our artistry on every level. You know, the type of music. We don't have anybody telling us in the AR department, well, do you have a Whitney Houston type of song? You know, you can intrinsically just be yourself, you know, and that's, I think, what embodies the power of being an independent artist.
Mhm.
So I'm excited.
Definitely. Because you definitely have that room and that space, because like you said, that control from the label heads from back in the
Oh
day.
my God.
you know
Yes.
is they can tell you can do 50 songs, they might not like 49 of them.
Right.
And
You
they'll
know,
tell you to go back to the drawing board.
exactly. I think that now their approach, and maybe it always has been, is sort of like you're a commodity, you know? And
Mm,
so your packaging is important. I think now it's probably even more important than your musicianship or your artistry, you know?
right.
And so we're missing really good music. We're missing um, the the blessing of artists that really put in the work,
Yeah.
that did their research, that respect those that came before them, know of those that came before them. They're kids that are coming up in that desire to be in the music business, and they don't know who Earth, Wind, and Fire is.
Mm,
Can you believe that? They don't know the Temptations. Who's that? You know, and
right.
I think that in any business, how can you represent it well, and how can you represent your artistry well if there's no depth other than
Mm.
I want to be famous and I want to make a lot of money.
But it's also on the label side too, because of the fact that they want these fly by night
Yes,
songs and artists. If the
exactly.
numbers speak,
Yeah,
then that's it.
yeah,
That's what they want. And it's not, is they're missing the legendary part of this, like music
absolutely.
from like yourself and
Yeah,
Stevie and Earth, Wind and Fire. Like it's
you're
legendary legacy music,
right.
and it's just like, no, let me see. They got 50,000 followers. That means they're gonna bring people in. They on TikTok. They
That's
got a
right.
million.
That's their bottom line. Mm,
That's exactly what it is. And it's a numbers game, and like you said, they just forget about the true artistry in regards to what it takes to really be in it. Because I saw a post, I think it was yesterday, and it was like, if you're an artist or a creative and you're just in it for the money, you already started off wrong.
exactly. You did. Absolutely. And yes, the record companies have created a standard, or maybe lack of of standard in regards to, you know, being able um, to represent your music as, a musician, and not just someone that looks the part, has the packaging, and you're auto tuning, and
Mm-hmm.
you're getting other people to really sing your vocals, and it's not really you. Just there's so many stories, but the most obvious result of allowing, and I think that the artists have to assume some responsibility for the shape that the music industry, because we sort of allowed it, because we compromised,
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't take a stand. And I know it's really difficult to take a stand against Sony and all of that, but there are artists that have, maybe to their demise, but certainly if these younger artists have had done their research, and they would have listened to the words of Prince. They would have
Mm-hmm.
listened to the warnings that people before them, even if it was being aware of their story. I went to go see the Temptations this past weekend. I Ain't Too Proud. And there were things about the Temptations story that I didn't know. And it's a cautionary tale. of how it's just not about um, your musicianship or your talent. It's about how you carry yourself within this business, because it is a business, and you can thrive, but and there's a lot to be derived from it, but at what cost? At what cost?
Now, with that being said, taking from your experience, what was some of the most like scariest or maybe most memorable or happiest parts of learning and walking and growing to this business?
Oh, wow. I remember one day I drove up to Carmel and George Duke was doing a live performance, and I just had on my shorts and t-shirt and sat in the grass, with his wife and everybody. And I was just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna enjoy the show. And then all of a sudden he said, Lynn Davis, get up here and come sing this song. And I was like, you know, I didn't rehearse it. I didn't know it. And I remember Ricky Lawson, the drummer, going, "It's gonna make you strong, girl." This is what it's about, It's like opportunity. I learned that to really take advantage of opportunity. I met Stevie Wonder because I saw him at a rehearsal studio while I was rehearsing to go on tour with somebody else. And I just walked up to him and I said, "Can I sing for you?" And he said, "Yeah." And so I went, and I thought we were going to do it right there in the hallway, just him and I. But he took me into his rehearsal studio with the whole band, all the singers. And then he stood like right here, and I was singing For All We Know. And Stevie Wonder is just like, uh-huh, okay. And he called me maybe like 2 years later after I did the legendary Marvin Gaye's last tour, Midnight Love. And Stevie approached me at the memorial and said, "I want you to go to Europe with me." So I sang a duet with him. So many dreams come true in this business, If you do it the right way, you can come out fairly unscathed, but it does have peaks and valleys. Definitely. Yeah.
And that's amazing to hear. Oh my gosh, like I can only imagine Stevie Wonder and of all people,
Yeah.
Prince and Marvin Gaye, like, oh, amazing. I want to talk about your songwriting, because like we'll just get into your songwriting, because obviously your songwriting credits notable artists like Patrice Rushen, Tracy Spencer, LaToya Jackson. I want you to kind of talk about your creative process. Like, what is it that how you be able to what inspired you in behind these compositions?
Well, with Patrice, I was blessed to have her include me in her process when she was writing for her records. And so that's one way that it happens. I write songs, because there are moments that you have this idea and then you write it down and then you develop it and then someone hears it. While you're on a session, you go, "Okay, this song is cool that we just did, but I got a song, you want to hear it?" And it ended up being on a record or a movie. Very magical, more than magic, actually, because of it being a people business, and there's always opportunity if you can recognize it. And you shoot your best shot. You present and hope that people feel what you present to them and have someone that can benefit from it. And so there was never, I had an experience where I wrote these songs and I produced them myself, and the representative, I think it was Warner Brothers, came down and saw that I had written these songs and produced them. And then when I went to go get a production deal, this guy sitting behind the desk goes, "I can't believe you did this. Did you really do this?" And so the rep was like, "Yeah, I was there. She did this." So as a woman, And as someone who put in many years, and having to listen to statements like, "Oh, you've got great instincts," and I go, "What does that mean?" I have great instincts, but you're technically adept because what you went, you went to school for this, or you assume that I can't read or music or play an instrument. You know, uh, this is not.
That's like a continuous
Oh
story.
my God, girl. And it's like they
It's
think that we're
crazy.
born with this voice. Like I just jumped out, into the world. And no, I studied and I practiced every day because it was my passion. I, when I look back on it now, I go, wow, all those hours in my room just singing because for the love of it. Um, and my father being classically trained and being trained and being exposed to church and so many different genres, and jazz was always in my home. I didn't know what it was doing for me and what it would be responsible for doing for me in my future, but I was able to work with such a diversity of artists because of my experience. My experience was so diversified.
And
What
was
a
there
blessing.
any artists that you felt like that they were like more easier to work with, or you clicked the better? Like, what was there anyone being difficult? I'm gonna get just a little
Ooh,
tea.
girl. Well, when you're working with other background singers and stuff, it becomes challenging, especially when you're out on the road, you know. And you have to get the book to get the juice. I wrote a book called Above Circumstance, and I talk about a lot of those type of challenging experiences, but it's a business. So there are times that I've worked on the road or I've done sessions with people that I didn't necessarily click with. We had beef, but we were both professional enough to say, hey, we're here to do a job and
Right.
rise above it, rise above the circumstances.
Okay. And of course, in regards of all of that, you being a background vocalist, you being a composer, wearing multiple hats.
Mm-hmm.
How were you able to, because we're gonna get into your newer stuff, because we gotta let the audience know about the new music,
Okay.
everything that's coming out for
Yeah.
you. But talk about that balancing in between, like, personal and traveling, and then trying to be the creative that you were at that present time, working with all these multiple artists.
I think there was a gentleman, like he was a mentor to a lot of us. He was executive producer for quite a few of Patrice Rushen's albums, Reggie Andrews. And he said something so profound to me one day. He said, you know, the real struggle for you and for any woman within the music business is necessary outside of the apparent challenges that you're going to be having to deal with. They're going to you're going to be tested within the business. But he said, most importantly, your biggest challenge is how what you're going through as a result of being in this business in your personal life. And that was something that I really did not understand until much later, as I matured and grew as a woman. I really understood because, we had a desire to, your, your career becomes so all encompassing, that's what this kind of a career does. It kind of just sucks you totally in, where I can't tell you how many major family experiences that celebrations and all that I miss from being out on the road or being so busy, and finding that balance. You kind of have to, you would want to go in with some balance, with some mores, with some uh, perception of who you are, or it will be decided for you, you know, um, in so many different ways. Um, and I think for women especially, because it's, you know, you know, it's it's a man's world, you
Yeah.
know. You know, and I don't think that they really take um, our musicianship seriously, you know. Um, and so that was always a challenge, to be seen more than a singer, that, you know, and I'm actually capable of producing and writing songs, and I can play, you know, the piano enough to write songs, you know. But they didn't necessarily see us that way. And so your body clock is going, you want to get married, you want to have children, and you're at the top of your game in your career. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
You try to balance. Some of us were able to balance it. For me, I couldn't imagine having children and then going out on the road. And a couple of the guys I was engaged to couldn't either. You know, they were like, "So when we get married, you're not going to have a problem with getting out of business, right?" And so that was the end of that, because my priority was honoring my gift. So it's a certain, and so thus I don't have any children, you know. There's certain sacrifices that you make for what you love to do.
Is there anything you feel like, you know, now that you, because I mean, you had such a lucrative career up to this point, is there anything you would have done different, or you just were like, you know what, I am the person I am because of this path I took?
You know, I don't know. I don't process like that, that there's anything that I would have done differently. No, I really think that um, uh, obstacles, challenges, pain, mistakes, failures is all part of the process.
Very true.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about, we want to now, I want to get into the music of it, because you do have your latest single, Beautiful You.
Yes.
You are rebranding yourself. You are stepping out and flourishing as a solo artist. I kind of want you to kind of talk about the hopes and aspirations in which this new phase of your career, and what message do you want to convey to the audience through your music?
My hopes were based first in, you know, continuing to honor my gift, you know, as we get older, and not buy into the ageism and all those other isms of the record business, you know. It's too late to da da da. Well, my objective really was inspired by the state of the music business presently, and the absence of really quality R&B music, you know, songs, real songs that stand the test of time for decades, you know. Um, the Motown sound, all of those songs Smokey Robinson and wrote, and it they're still, their songs, they still are relevant. Stevie Wonder songs, they're classics, you know. And we don't have a lot of crooners anymore. We don't have, you know, I call them BRS, bedroom specials, you know. Luther's gone.
I like
Girl,
that.
girl, Luther's gone, you know.
Yeah.
We're like, what are we gonna play, you know? You know, at night with your husband in the, you know, God. And so um, I heard an interview with P. Diddy talking about, you know, yeah, we got to bring the R&B back. But I'm like, okay, I'm waiting. And so I said, well,
Did you hear his album, the Love album? Did you take a listen to it?
no.
Okay.
So
It's
I
not
can't speak on it. Is it
it's not
hot?
bad. It's it's
Really?
it's good. It's good. It's Diddy.
See, this is the thing. You know, this is the thing. It's not how it sounds, it's how it feels.
Mm,
You know, it's not how good you can blow, how good you can sing. It's how well you interpret the song and express and deliver the message to the people where, years later you can hear that same song and remember, oh man, I remember being in Inglewood at such and such or
mm,
Val Verde Park. Oh, I remember me and my boyfriend went da da. Those kind of songs. There's so much up and coming talent, so incredible, you know, talent, and they're individualistic. They're doing their own thing. I love that, and I listen to them like, oh, listen to those runs. All right, but after I listen to them, I can't remember the hook. I can't remember the melody. I can't remember the damn name of the song.
mm,
And it's like I don't know how to fix that except, you know, put out what I think is representative of what I feel that I'm really missing and what I received when I was their age from so many blessed artists,
mm,
you know, and and they're not going to be around much longer for them to go to their shows and see what I'm talking about, so they're going
mm,
to take some initiative and be proactive and find out what rhythm and blues, what that soul music is about, to not just reproduce it, but to flip it within themselves and come out, let it come out of them, you know, in a new way. Yeah.
mm. And now, speaking of a lot of artists, because I mean, we do have artists like Jasmine Sullivan,
Love
Summer
that.
Walker, SZA, Tiana Taylor,
Love.
those ladies who are kind of stepping in that area of R&B music. Do you see, is there anyone that you see that you feel like, oh, I can kind of combine our generations together in regards to the music?
Oh yeah, I see a lot of them, and I I don't know if um, the producers, the younger producers, are able to help bring that out of them. It's like I absolutely adore um, October London's new record.
Oh,
He doesn't he show us that he could do anything. He could do
child.
everything.
He is hands down amazing.
Oh my God, amazing.
Marvin Gaye is really
Right?
right
But
there.
I was getting my hair done. I was in the beauty shop. I was like, dang, he's doing rap. Now he's doing Afrobeat. Now he's doing, Marvin Gaye. Now he's doing it was a little Stevie Wonderish and R. Kelly and where's October? Who is October London? I still don't know yet. I just know he's a bad brother, and he's got what it takes to he he obviously has what it takes. But I think the producers that were um, doing a lot of very successful R&B music, and let me tell you who continually brings it and will bring it for forever.
Tell us.
Babyface. Face. Face is gonna always bring it. You know what I mean? And I miss that. I want Chris Brown to go back to singing. I want Usher to sing more. I saw Usher in Vegas, and it was just amazing, amazing. I think so many of these artists are so vocally and stuff amazing that I just want them to, you know, see maybe the song writing concept a little differently. And maybe that's just me. That's just my personal thing. Evidently, their audience is loving what they're doing. So,
And it's it's working in that style in regards to it. And I
Yeah.
think that, and I do understand that it's just like, we kind of want them, I guess some of the newer ones, to kind of get that understanding where the music, how the real music, the original sound, like what it took to make that music, what it take to remember,
Exactly.
where you were the day, that moment you heard that track, like that very
Right.
moment you heard this music, because it does good music. When you hear it, no matter whether if it's 5 years, 10 years, you can always go back to
Yes.
that memory.
It
And I think that, and I get what you're saying with that.
does.
Definitely.
And the love and the energy. I want to, you know, this society is so, wicked. They're trying to take the whole energy of family and love and couples and marriage and out the scene. And I think we need to go back to, you know, those sexy songs that talk about love and stuff. And instead of talking a whole bunch of trash and he did and I told him, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I want something that I can feel, not just hear.
Got you. And the industry is forever changing. And one thing about it, but the one thing, the same message that's been going across the board for some time now is that people want, like you said, just the realness, the original, the deepness of when it comes to R&B music and sound. And I know there's a lot of upcoming artists that hold on to that, just exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. And I don't
First of all, you
think they're being
said,
supported. I don't think the record companies are putting a lot of money
oh,
into
no,
supporting R&B music. Let's talk about that,
no, no,
you know?
it's definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
Mm-mm.
And I think that's the one thing about independent, being an indie,
Yes.
to be able, like you said in the beginning, just having that control, putting out what you love, admire,
Yes.
because, at the end of the day, yes, TikTok can run and they can have, the quick hits and tunes and beats and everybody's dancing and doing all sorts of things. But I think for you as your artistry and your creativity, just to know that, okay, Liz, I'm going to put out what Lynn Davis loves. I'm
Yes.
gonna put out,
Yes.
what I love, or what it is that
Yes.
my artistry and what I want to focus on. And obviously you have a core audience that's going to tune into that and who wants it. And they're obviously, the more and more that you're putting out that music, like Beautiful You, which love it, harmonies, melody,
Oh,
everything
thank
that
you.
on top of this,
Thank you.
which you will gain even more R&B lovers. You said some remarkable things and a lot of gems tonight in regards to just your walking your journey. I kind of want you to kind of talk about you um in this evolving industry.
Mm.
For ever since from when you first started up to this point, now that you're coming out as a solo
Mm-hmm.
artist, you're working on your upcoming projects, you're working on a book. I want you to kind of talk about some of the things that, where you feel like you can be able to inspire and give encouraging words to other artists who is trying to really do this music thing in this day and age.
I would say it's so easy to get caught up in that stage where you're creating the songs behind the scenes. You've got all these wonderful concepts of videos and presentation, and you allow maybe the challenge of, how am I going to um, promote? How am I going to maybe get the musicians that you would want to be on them, or the bomb engineer to mix it or master it? And I say to anyone in that stage, you just gotta like be pressurized in that pressure, like, and because that's what produces the oil. That's what produces anything. Like, I finally came to this point where I said, okay, I've got the songs, you know, I just have to do this. And the first step was, I built my studio in the house, And I gave myself a time thing. And I said, this has got to come out by September this year. And I just pushed. It was a push. And it's always a push. For the last 2 years, it's just been a push. And even my deficit was not being so aware of or having any knowledge of how I do this in this social media world, you know? So I've made some mistakes and I've learned a lot. And the most important thing is to persevere no matter what, above any type of obstacle or circumstance that may in the moment seem insurmountable. You just you have to have faith. There's no other way. There's no other way. And I think that I had a lot of practice, 40 plus years walking in faith in a business where it's not like a 9 to 5. I never knew when I was going to be called for work, how much money I was going to make this month. 1 month for a grand, another month for 100, and bought houses and cars. And I just kept pushing and kept believing in God and not being dismayed or discouraged. Yeah, I was dismayed and discouraged, even depressed at times because this business is no joke, you know. But a lot of what you will receive from it is if you're able to continue and weather all the storms and obstacles and until you do what it is that you say that you want to do. You can't just be about saying it, you got to do it.
Listen, that's the number one thing is you gotta do it and be consistent.
Yes, yes. There are some new artists that I hear. Oh man, I would like. Oh, I want to produce them because I see them differently probably than they see themselves in a whole nother vibe. With my vibe and their vibe, it could be magic, you know. So I'm really thinking about after I get Lynn Davis from the Vault out. The book is out, Above Circumstance. Um, I have another book that I've already written. It's like a workbook when you get stuck, and it's really about life. Because if you don't do life good while you're in this business, girl, it's
I am learning. You are saying it, okay?
yeah. You've got to do life good. You've got to do your work. You've got to work on yourself. You to thine own self be true. I've learned so many lessons, exactly how I created for myself to have learned them. And then I understood that, oh, I created this, so I can create something else. And that's what I started doing. I don't want to learn. I don't need to learn this anymore. Okay, got it. To the universe, and that's what it takes. As you continue to want to ascend and evolve.
And first of all, Miss Davis, I want to say thank you one more time. I over and over just for being here, having this conversation with us. You have said so many important gems on tonight's conversation. For those who came in a little late, listen, if you missed some things, but you can always go back. You will be able. We'll put this up, and you will be able to see it. Before we get out of here, who are some artists you want to work with today? Who are just some of your the ones you kind of want to put your touch on?
These the new artists.
Any of the new artists or anybody, or over there somebody you just haven't had the opportunity to work with as you've seen as the industry changes, and you just want to be able to take that opportunity to try to work with them?
I've never, when I see them in the moment, I'm like, oh, I would love that. I'm really loving this sister Nefertiti Avani. I think she's so bad, and she's so spiritual, and she's so real. I love her. The brother that, oh God, I can't remember his name. It's so embarrassing. He's an actor. He acted in the latest version of Superfly, and he plays the guitar, and he's really handsome, sings his butt off. I'm
I
like,
know
oh,
exactly
you know
what
what I'm talking
I know who you're talking
about?
about.
Girl.
Oh my gosh. And it's just like I can see his face visually and I just can't think of the
I
name.
know I can't think of his name right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you
If
know,
anybody knows, drop it in the chat if you may know or you know the
please
name. But
do. You know? And then I have some songs that I would like. I would love, I have some real R&B like hits that Mary J could like kill. You know,
Mhm.
um, I love what's my boy when you're on the move. Oh, having a moment of memory lapse, but you know, I kind of don't approach it like that. Like if there's something that I have for someone, I really believe that God and the universe will direct it all. It's this big choir director going, okay, she's going to be there today, so I'm going to send Bruno Mars over there, and and they'll have this chance meeting. It'll look like chance, but I think the universe orchestrates like that, and so I just want to be in the flow of it. I want to be out of myself in that flow, and stop trying to control everything. But yeah, so Bruno Mars hit me up.
Love
Hit me
Bruno.
up. Hit his
Love
sister
Bruno
up.
Mars. I love him. He just have that funky sound that
Ah,
kind of brings back that disco funky, like just
and his presentation. His
uh
presentation is so old school,
love it.
right? He's got the
Yes.
bros on stage with him, and they're just having a good. Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, especially when
Absolutely.
I give him his flowers because him and Anderson Paak made an amazing duo with Silk Sonic.
Oh yes. Oh,
Yes.
oh,
That was him and Anderson Paak.
I love
Um
them. Oh
yes.
my
They I think that was just
goodness.
amazing duo concept and really bringing it back. And I think it definitely gave the younger generation a taste of those artists I've heard. Like I hear my mother used to play on Saturday
Yes.
mornings on the 70s and the 80s and all of that.
Yes.
So
That's how I got it. My sister, my older sister, she's like 5 years older than me. She brought the music into the house. My father brought I was, a little girl. I didn't have any money. So, it's like they bought the music and I listened to it and I absorbed everything, you know.
yes,
Got to do that for this generation. I really do.
yes, and yes, and please, for those who are here, once again, Miss Lynn
Wow.
Davis, you have a wonderful
Oh,
single out, Beautiful You.
thank you.
Please make sure you go out and support our artists because
Thank
it
you so
takes
much.
so much to create and to give you the music that you deserve to hear. So let's not just stream it, let's purchase it. Okay. And we
Thank
are looking
you.
forward to your new and upcoming project. Do you have a release date yet?
I'm releasing a surprise song of somewhat of a different genre in January. And then there's also the continuation of Lynn Davis
Mhm.
from the vault. And oh yeah, next year it's gonna be sexy.
Yes, sexy for 2024. I like that. Well, thank you so much for giving us that
All right, my
information.
love.
And
Thank you.
listen, we appreciate you. Keep doing what you do. You
Thank you
are hands
so
down
much.
legendary. And this is legacy sound. Okay. Keep
Oh,
giving it
thank
to
you.
us.
Oh, thank you, my love. Thank you for having
Of
me. Thank you,
course.
everybody, for joining.
Yes.
It's good.
And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in with us. So, guys, until next time, all right, Miss Davis, have a good night.
Bye.
Have
You
a
too,
good
sweetie.
one.
Okay, you too.
Okay, I think it did it go out? Uh-oh. All right, so I think it
Oh,
froze. So, guy, no, did it?
okay.
Yeah, you can X
Leave.
out.
I'm leaving.
See. Oh my goodness, so amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love my Thursdays. Guys, this is just so amazing. I mean, she's such a legendary just background vocalist, singer, songwriter. I mean, she has worked with Marvin Gaye, George Duke, Shaka Khan, Latoya Jackson. I mean, just that was that these conversations is just what's so important to have. So artists like yourselves, though some of you I see on here need to hear, just to get, to learn. We got to learn from those who's created and opened these doors. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Thank you so much. Of course, my beautiful co-host Danielle couldn't be with us tonight, but listen, we only got a few more episodes for this season. Let's go. Okay, and then the holidays are upon us. Okay, so we're getting ready. So guys, once again, thank you for your support, love. If you have missed it or you just came in, don't worry, full interview will be up on our YouTube channel for tomorrow. All right, guys, you already know what it is. It's nothing but real music, real style, and real people. And of course, it don't get no realer than this. All right, so guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, you already know who it is. Peace.